A person who can't decide his own goal simply cannot win. A great quotation from a great intellectual leader, Chanukya, from the great dynasty, Mauryan dynasty. Today, we are going to discuss about this Mauryan dynasty, which is very important in this ancient history. If you can see this timeline, in this timeline, Mauryan dynasty is founded by Chandragupta Maurya during 323 BCE and last up to 185 BCE. During the time of Chandragupta Maurya, he extended territory in northward direction. He ruled up to 298 BCE. After his death, Bindusara Maurya ruled from 298 to 272 BCE, and he extended the territory to the southern side. After him, Ashoka ruled from 269 to 232 BCE. He fought a war called Kalinga War, very famous in the history. This is the place where Kalinga is there. After Ashoka, there are no important rulers in this Mauryan dynasty. Brihadatta is the last ruler in the Mauryan dynasty. He is assassinated by this Pushyamitra Shunga, and this Pushyamitra Shunga found Shunga dynasty later. Now we will discuss about the Chandragupta Maurya, who is founder of Maurya dynasty. Here we can see the Chandragupta Maurya and he is Chanukya. If you want to talk about this his origin, there are no constant records about this origin. Different sources telling different ways. As per the Puranas, he is from lower caste Shudras. As per the Buddhist literature Mahavamsa, he is from Kshatriya clan called Shaka clan, which is Gautam Buddha's clan. And as per the Greek literature, he is from lowerly origin. Okay, let's see what he did. He overthrew Dhananda of Nanda dynasty, the last ruler of the Nanda dynasty, with the help of his guru, teacher Chanukya. After that, he extended territory into northwest side. There, he subdued this Greek governor Seleucus Nicator and entered into marriage alliance with him. Means Chandragupta Maurya married daughter of Seleucus Nicator. Megasthenes, who wrote Indica, was come to Mauryan court during his time. Sahagaura, copper plate inscription, Mahastan inscription shows the provisions made by him due to the time of famine. He embraced Jainism in his last days and migrated to the Sravana Belagola caves in Karnataka near Mysuru. He died there by following this process called Sellekana in the Jainism. The process is like this. In Jainism, the people in the last days they won't take any food, they won't drink. They will leave that food for others and they will die by fasting. So Sellekana is the process called fasting till the death. After him, his son Bindusara Maurya ruled. Here you can see the Bindusara Maurya. He is also called as Amitrochates by Greeks. And in his court, a Greek ambassador called Demicus Strabo was there. And he extended territory into the southern side. Here, three kingdoms are there called Cholas, Pandyas, and Cheras. These three kingdoms are very friendly to the Mauryan dynasty. The only hostile kingdom is Kalinga during Bindusara, which is later conquered by his son Ashoka. He patronized Ajivikas and during his life he fought 16 wars, very important wars. And after his death, a long war of succession happened in which Ashoka succeeded and started ruling. You can see Ashoka here. He is Ashoka. He is very famous king in the Maurya dynasty. He conquered Kalinga and after this war he changed a lot and he left this Berigosha means winning by the wars and he replaced it with the Damagosha means now he is going to win by Dharma or Dama. Then he started patronizing Buddhism and he started building stupas. This is called stupas. Here you can see this, and pillars. And he put many inscriptions like this. He himself called Devanampiya in these inscriptions, which is called beloved of gods. Lot of the information about Ashoka is available to us through this edicts of Ashoka. To understand easily, I divide these edicts into two types. First one is rock edicts, and second one is pillar edicts. Again, these rock edicts are divided into two types, minor and major. This major are 14 in number, and pillar edicts also divide into two parts. One is minor and another is major. Here you can see the major pillar edicts 7 and what are the information they are providing. And I just provided down about the rock edicts of major 14. We just go through it. We will find what this talks about. Now we will discuss about the Mauryan administration. To understand this Mauryan administration, I divided this administration into three parts: geographical divisions, military administration, and economy. Geographical division means division of the total kingdom. The Mauryans divided the kingdom into provinces. To control the provinces, they have some central administration like central government nowadays. The central administration is at Patliputra and the provinces are four. Here we can see the four provinces. First one is northern provinces and second one is western, eastern and southern. You can see the names. Northern name is Uttarapad and its capital is Taxila. Where the Taxila? In map you can see here northern part near Gandhara here. In western part, the name of the western province is Avantipat and its capital is Ujjain. We can see in the map it is here. And the eastern province is called as Prachapat and its capital is Tosail. We can see this here that time in Kalinga. And the southern province name is called as Dakshinapat and its capital is Suvarnagiri near to nowadays Kurnool. We can see here. Now, this every province is headed by the governor. The governor is called Kumara. Kumaras. Okay. So, generally these Kumaras are the sons of the main king. During the time of Bindusara, Ashoka is the Kumara for this western province called Avantipat in Ujjain. Now, we will see again these provinces are divided into Ahar or Vishya, means districts. As we are seeing now, central total India is divided into states and states are divided into districts. Like that, total Mauryan dynasty is divided into provinces and the provinces are divided into now districts. The districts are called Ahar or Vishya and the head of the district is called Pradeshikas. And again these districts are subdivided into gramas and the head of the gramas is called Gramika or Gramini. The Mauryan Empire is centralized administration, means every decision is taken by king. King is the nucleus in the Mauryan administration and there is lot of people to assist the king. Here we can see Mantri Parishad is there to assist the king. Generally the Mantri Parishad consists of Yuvarajas, Purohita, Senapati and some Adhyakshas, etc. These Adhyakshas or Amatyas were the higher officials to run the administration to help the king. As per the Megasthenes, the centralized administration at Patliputra is administered by council of 30 ministers. Means the city of Patliputra is administered by 30 ministers as a council and this council is formed into 6 committees. Each committee is consisting of 5 members. Here you can see what are the different boards or committees. The 6 boards are Board of Foreigners to deal with the foreign affairs, and board of census to deal with the census, birth rate, death rate, number of people are dying, number of people are taking birth, and board of trade and commerce to see the details of trade and commerce, and as here industrial arts and quality assurance to assure the quality of the kingdom goods, and taxation to fix the taxation and to cover the taxation. These are the six boards at Patliputra to administer Patliputra. Now we will see the military administration. Generally, the army was functioned under the Senapati. So, the commander-in-chief in the Mauryan administration called as Senapati, who is directly appointed by the king itself. King is going directly appointed and he is directly reporting to the king only. And generally the army salaries are paid in cash. Here, as per this Megasthenes, the Mauryan army consists of 6 lakh infantry and 30,000 horsemen and 8,000 chariots and 9,000 war elephants. Now, the work of the army is divided into two types. First one is defending the kingdom, and second one is simply maintaining the law and order in the kingdom. And the espionage means spies, Gudachari, is very strong in the Mauryan times, and it is very well developed here. And the spies are informers about the bureaucracy and markets, how it's happening, etc., etc. Generally, there are two types of spies in this one. Samsthana means stationary spies, they are working somewhere, and they would Sanchari spies are wanderers. They will roam all the kingdom and they will get the information from kingdom and outside of kingdom. And these Goda Purushas were called detectives or secret agents. So just like today's RA, there is also a good spy system is there. And the agents were picked from different segments in the society. Just like today RA. Now we will see the economy during the Mauryan dynasty. See, maintaining high bureaucracy and army definitely involves with very huge expenditure, right? So, to meet the expenditure, they used to regulate this high incoming or high economic activities which give more profits. And state itself engaged in the trade and commodity production also. Here we can see commodity production. This Rajapanya means the state goods are generally sold by state servants only, but sometimes maybe by trade members. This land tax was the chief revenue to the Mauryan dynasty. But as per the sources, there are two things. As per the Indian sources, it is 1/6 of the production. As per the some Greek sources, it is 1/4 of the production. And in Mauryan dynasty, water cess is also levied. And as per the Junagadh inscription, Chandragupta built a dam on a Junagadh river. Means they are used to build irrigation dams. Now see, Mauryan Panchmark coins generally have symbols of peacock, hill, and crescents. Generally, there are two types. First one is silver. Second one is copper type coins. Means the materials they generally use are silver and copper. Here, some of the important position names in the Mauryan Empire. See, Mahatmas or Mahamatas. Mahamatas are the higher rank officials, and Yuktas, these are the empire revenues persons, subordinate officers, and Rajukas, these are the in charge of the land measurement and boundary fixing. And you can see here, these are the Adhyakshas, some of the Adhyakshas means superintendents. Sanstha means mint. What is the meaning of mint? They are going to mint the coins, silver coins, copper coins, they are going to mint the money. And Samastha means markets. Samastha Adhyaksha means markets. And Sulka means tolls. superintendent of tolls. Sita means land, means agriculture. Nava means navy. Loha means metal, means iron. And Patwa Daksha. Patwa means weights and measurements. And Akara means mines. You can see here. And Vyavaharika Mahamata means higher judicial officer. Vyavaharika. You can see here. Vyavaharika means judicial officer. And Pulsanj. This Pulsanj is like public relations officer. They will interact with public directly. And see here, these are all called from Mahamatas, means higher officials. From here, the public relation officer. These are just like central government jobs nowadays. And this another one like Stanika. The Stanikas are the persons who will collect the tax from the people under the Pradeshikas. Who is the Pradeshika? He is the head of the district. And Durgapala. Durga means fort. Durgapala means governor of forts. Anta. Anta means end. Means frontiers. So Antapala means governor of frontiers. Akshapatala. Akshapa means accountant general. Akshapatala. These are like just like a regional, local government jobs. You can see here. Now, we already read about the Mauryan dynasty. After Ashoka, as I told you, the empire in the empire there is no important king, and the empire was lost on 185 BCE. 185 BCE. And what are the reasons to declare the Mauryan dynasty? As we see here, religious policies of Ashoka. Ashoka generally used to give many gifts to the Buddhism and is encouraging the Buddhism. It makes the Brahmins anger on Ashoka. And financial crisis. You know that this Mauryan dynasty used to have huge army and huge bureaucracy. So generally they need to pay the salaries to them. So expenditure is more. But this Ashoka giving lot of grants to the Buddhism monks make this revenue very less. Means total revenue of this Mauryan dynasty was going to finish. And centralized administration. We can see here central administration means this province's rulers sometimes they will oppose them because of the king's centralized system. That is called internal revolts. As I told you, some of the provinces like Gandhara, Magadha, that from Magadha dynasty time, they are very addicted to this corruption. But that's why they are revolting every time. And some new knowledges, science and technology, and some foreign invention from northwestern side. Because this Ashoka spent a lot of time on this Buddhist things, Buddhist matters, he can't give his complete time to the frontiers. So after Ashoka, the decline of Mauryan dynasty starts because of the following reasons. Now, after this, I want to show some sources where we can get the details of Mauryan dynasty. I divide the sources into two types. First one is written sources, second one is archaeological sources. Some of the books are Ardhashastra by Kautilya, means Chanukya only, and Mudra by Visakadatta. He is the poet during the Gupta's time, Gupta Empire time, and after him, Indika, the Megasthenes. You know, Megasthenes is the governor of the Chandragupta Maurya court. And second one is some Buddhist literatures and Puranas. And in archaeological sources, Ashokan edicts, which I showed in the PPT, and some of the material remains such as coins, etc. This is the things I need to share you about this art and architecture of this Mauryan dynasty. We will cover in the art and culture topics. Thank you for listening, classes, and this is Nishant Kasani signing off.